Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the English Leap podcast. I am your host, Olivia.
And I'm John. We are so happy you are joining us today. This is the podcast where we help you learn real, everyday English. We want you to feel confident when you speak.
Exactly. We don't want you to sound like a textbook. We want you to sound like a real person. We take big English topics and make them simple, fun, and easy to understand.
That is the goal. So, Olivia, how are you doing today? You sound a little bit different.
Well, to be honest, John, I am feeling a little bit under the weather.
Oh, no. Under the weather. That is a great phrase. Can you tell our listeners what that means?
Of course. When we say I feel under the weather, it just means I feel a little sick. It is a very common idiom in English. I'm not terribly sick. I don't need to go to the hospital, but I have a little cold. My nose is running and I feel a bit tired.
I am sorry to hear that. It is the season for it. The weather is changing and everyone seems to be getting a little sick. Actually, I had a bad cold last week.
You did. You were sneezing all the time.
I really was. And getting sick is never fun. But getting sick in a foreign country or trying to explain your sickness in a second language, that is really scary.
Oh, I agree 100%. It is so stressful. When you're sick, your brain is already tired. You don't have the energy to think about difficult English grammar. You just want to say, "Help me, I feel bad."
Exactly. And that is exactly what we are going to talk about today. Today's video topic is how to talk about your health and visiting the doctor.
This is such an important topic because let's be honest, everyone gets sick sometimes. It is a normal part of life. And if you travel or if you live in an English-speaking country, you need to know how to explain what is wrong with your body.
Yes, if you go to a pharmacy or if you visit a doctor, you need the right words. But don't worry, everybody. We're going to keep it very simple today. No difficult medical words, no confusing grammar rules, just the real natural English you need to get help and feel better.
Before we start giving you the rules, I want to ask our viewers a question. Think about the last time you felt sick. How did you feel? Were you tired? Did your head hurt? Did you have a fever?
We want you to focus on that feeling because language is all about expressing how we feel. When you walk into a doctor's office, the doctor usually asks, "How are you feeling today?" Or, "What brings you in today?"
Right. They don't want a long medical report. They just want to know your daily symptoms. A symptom is simply the feeling of your sickness. A cough is a symptom. A hot forehead is a symptom.
So let's talk about the very basics. How do we start to explain this feeling? When you woke up today, Olivia, what was your first thought?
My first thought was simply, I feel sick. That is the easiest, most common way to start. I feel sick.
It is perfect. It is clear. I feel sick. You can also say, I am sick. Both are correct. But I feel sick focuses on your body's feeling in that exact moment.
Exactly. And sometimes you don't feel totally sick, but something just isn't right. You might say, I don't feel well.
That is a great one. I don't feel well. It is very polite. If you are at work and you need to go home, you can tell your boss, I'm sorry, but I don't feel well today.
Yes, your boss won't ask for all the messy details. They will just say, oh, please go home and rest.
We also have the word ill. Sometimes students learn the word ill in textbooks. I am ill. Do you say that, Olivia?
Honestly, not really. In everyday American English, we usually say sick. I am sick or I feel sick. Ill sounds a little bit formal or maybe a bit British. It is not wrong at all. Everyone will understand you. But sick is definitely more common in everyday casual conversation.
I completely agree. If I tell my friends I am ill, they might think I have a very serious long-term disease. If I just have a cold, I say I'm sick.
So viewers, that is your first step. Remember the simple phrases, I feel sick, I don't feel well, or I feel a little under the weather.
Just saying those simple words will tell the doctor or your friend or the pharmacist that you need some help.
But of course, the doctor will want to know more. They will want to know why you feel sick. What is happening in your body?
Right. And that is where people get confused. Do I say I am headache or my head is sick?
Oh, I hear those a lot from my English students. And it is completely okay to make those mistakes. But today, we are going to fix them. We are going to teach you 3 simple structures. Just 3. If you know these 3 patterns, You can talk about almost any daily sickness.
Only 3? That sounds easy enough. I am ready to learn.
Awesome. Let's move on to our next section and break down these 3 simple patterns. Okay, welcome to the learning section. Remember, we are keeping this simple. No confusing grammar names. We are just going to look at 3 easy patterns you can use to describe your pain.
I am ready. What is pattern number 1?
Pattern number 1 is I have a plus noun.
I have a. That is the same pattern we use for owning things, like I have a dog or I have a car.
Exactly. When you are sick, imagine that your sickness is something you are carrying with you. You own it for right now. So you say, I have a cold.
Ah, that makes sense. I have a cold. What about a headache?
Yes, I have a headache. I have a fever. I have a cough.
Let's break those words down for our beginner listeners. A fever is when your body is very hot, right? Your temperature goes up.
Correct. You feel hot and sweaty. You say, I have a fever. And a cough is when air comes out of your throat very loudly. Cough, cough. You say, I have a cough.
I have noticed that a lot of sickness words end in the sound ache, A-C-H-E.
That is a brilliant observation, John. Yes, ache means pain. So if your head hurts, it is a headache. Headache. I have a headache.
What if my stomach hurts?
Then you say, I have a stomachache.
And my tooth?
I have a toothache.
What about my back?
I have a backache.
What about my finger? I have a finger ache?
No, nice try, John. We don't use ache for everything, mostly just head, stomach, tooth, and back. For a finger, we use a different pattern, but we will get to that later.
Okay, good to know. So pattern number 1 is I have a, like I have a headache or I have a fever. That is super easy. What is pattern number 2?
Pattern number 2 is I feel plus adjective.
Okay, I feel. We talked about this a little bit already with I feel sick.
Exactly. We use I feel for the overall condition of your body. It is an adjective, a describing word. For example, if you stand up too fast and the room starts spinning, how do you feel?
Oh, I feel dizzy.
Yes, I feel dizzy. You don't say I have a dizzy. You say I feel dizzy.
What if my energy is completely gone? I just want to sleep.
You say I feel tired. Or if it is really bad, I feel exhausted.
What if I feel like I am going to throw up my food?
That is a great one to know. You say I feel nauseous.
Nauseous. That is a big word. Let's repeat that one for the audience. Nauseous.
Nauseous. It means your stomach feels bad and you might vomit. I feel nauseous.
So pattern 1 is I have a for things like a cold, a cough, or a headache. Pattern 2 is I feel for describing conditions like dizzy, tired, or nauseous.
You got it. Now, the final pattern, pattern number 3. This is for when a specific part of your body has pain. The pattern is my plus body part plus hurts.
My body part hurts. This is where I can talk about my finger.
Yes, this is where you talk about your finger. If you shut your finger in a door, you don't say, I have a finger ache. You say, my finger hurts.
Oh, that is very easy. My finger hurts. What if I run 10 miles and my legs are in pain?
You would say, my legs hurt. Notice that because legs is plural, there are 2 of them, we drop the S on the verb. My legs hurt. If it's just one leg, my leg hurts.
Got it. Let's do a quick test. If I look at a computer screen for 12 hours, my eyes...
Your eyes hurt. My eyes hurt.
If I eat too much spicy food, my stomach...
You can say 2 things here. You can use pattern 1, I have a stomachache, or you can use pattern 3, my stomach hurts. Both are completely perfectly correct.
Oh, I love when English gives us choices. So just to review for our listeners, the 3 magic patterns are: number 1, I have a; number 2, I feel; number 3, my blank hurts.
If you memorize those 3 short sentences, you can survive any trip to the doctor or the pharmacy. It takes all the pressure off. You don't need to learn complicated medical grammar.
For example, if I walk into a pharmacy, I can just walk up to the counter and say, "Excuse me, I have a headache and I feel tired.
Can you help me?
That is beautiful English, John. Any pharmacist in the world would understand you perfectly and give you the right medicine.
This is really building my confidence. Let's show our viewers how we actually use this in real life. I think we have some funny stories to share.
We definitely do. Let's move into our real-life examples and look at some situations where we actually had to use these phrases.
Welcome to Chapter 3. This is my favorite part of the podcast because we get to share our real-life stories. Learning English is much easier when you can picture a real story in your head.
I totally agree. When you connect vocabulary to a story, you remember it forever. So, John, I happen to know you have a very funny story about a time you had to visit the doctor.
Oh boy, yes I do. But I have to warn our viewers, it is a little bit embarrassing.
We love embarrassing stories here on the English Leap podcast. Tell us what happened.
Okay, so this happened a few years ago. It was my birthday, and I went to my favorite pizza restaurant. I love pizza. I mean, I really love pizza.
Uh-oh, I can see where this is going.
Yes, I ate an entire large pizza by myself, and it had lots of cheese, spicy pepperoni, onions, everything. It was delicious. But later that night, I woke up at 2 a.m.
Let me guess, you did not feel good.
I felt terrible. Using our patterns from the last chapter, I would say I had a terrible stomachache, and I felt very nauseous.
Oh no, so what did you do?
Well, I tried to drink some water, I tried to go back to sleep, but my stomach hurt so badly. The next morning, it still hurt. I couldn't stand up straight. I thought, oh no, maybe my appendix is broken. Maybe I need surgery. I was so worried.
It is so scary when your stomach hurts that much. You always imagine the worst thing possible.
Exactly. So I called my boss. This is a great real-life phrase for our listeners. I called my boss and said, I need to call in sick today.
Stop right there. Let's highlight that phrase. Call in sick. This is what you say when you telephone your job to tell them you cannot come to work because you are ill. You don't just say, I am not coming. You say, I need to call in sick.
Right. So I called in sick. Then I drove myself to the doctor's office. I walked in holding my stomach. The doctor looked at me, looking very serious. He said, John, what seems to be the problem?
And what did you tell him?
I used our patterns. I said, Doctor, my stomach hurts terribly. I have a stomachache and I feel nauseous. The doctor pressed on my stomach. He asked, did you eat anything unusual?
And you had to confess about the pizza.
I did. I said, well, I ate a whole large spicy pepperoni pizza for my birthday. The doctor stopped pressing my stomach. He looked at me, smiled, and started laughing.
He laughed at you?
He did. He said, John, you don't need surgery. You just have a very bad case of indigestion from eating too much food. Go home, drink some hot tea, and rest.
Oh, that is so funny, but also so embarrassing. But it's a great example. You used the simple structures to describe your pain, the doctor asked a simple question, and you got your answer. Indigestion is a great word, by the way. It just means your stomach is having trouble processing your food.
Exactly. What about you, Olivia? Do you have a story about being sick?
I do. A few years ago, I was a teacher in a high school. I talked all day, every day. One morning in the winter, I woke up and I had a terrible sore throat.
Oh, a sore throat. That is when it hurts to swallow, right? Like there is scratchy sand in your throat.
Yes, exactly. I poured a glass of orange juice to drink, and when I swallowed, it felt like fire. I couldn't speak at all. I had completely lost my voice.
Lost my voice. That is another fantastic phrase. It means you physically cannot make a sound. You try to talk, but only a whisper comes out.
Exactly. I sounded like a tiny mouse. Squeak, squeak. I had to go to the pharmacy to get some medicine. But remember, I had lost my voice. I couldn't speak.
Oh my gosh. How did you communicate with the pharmacist? Did you do sign language?
Basically, I had to act it out. I pointed to my throat, made a sad face, and pretended to cough. The pharmacist looked at me like I was crazy. Finally, I just took out my phone and typed a message. I typed, I have a sore throat. My throat hurts. I need medicine.
That is so smart. And you use the structures. I have a sore throat, and my throat hurts.
Yes. The pharmacist read my phone, nodded, and handed me some cough drops and throat spray.
It worked perfectly, but I felt very silly acting like a mime in the middle of the store.
That shows how important these simple phrases are. Even if you have to type them on your phone, if you use simple English, people will understand and help you.
Let's talk about some home remedies too. In my story, I needed throat spray. In your story, the doctor told you to drink hot tea. What do you normally do when you have a cold?
I am a big believer in hydration. That means drinking a lot of water. If I have a cold, I drink water all day long. I also like to drink hot water with lemon and honey. It makes my throat feel so much better. What about you?
Sleep. Rest is the best medicine. If I feel under the weather, I cancel my plans, get into bed, pull up the blankets, and sleep for 12 hours. My body just needs to shut down and repair itself.
Rest and fluids. That is the best advice in any language. But sometimes tea and sleep are not enough. Sometimes you really have to go see the doctor.
That's true. And going to the doctor in an English-speaking country can involve a lot of steps. You have to make the appointment, talk to the receptionist, talk to the nurse, and then talk to the doctor.
It sounds like a lot, but don't worry. In our next chapter, we are going to walk you through that exact process, step by step.
Welcome back. Okay, let's imagine that drinking tea and sleeping didn't work. You are still sick. You need to see a doctor. John, what is the very first step?
The first step is to call the clinic and make an appointment. We use the verb make. You don't do an appointment or have an appointment yet. You make an appointment.
Right. You call on the phone and say, "Hello, I would like to make an appointment with the doctor, please."
The person on the phone might ask, "What is the reason for your visit?" And this is where you use our patterns. You say, "I have a bad cough," or "My back hurts."
Fast forward to the day of your appointment. You walk through the doors of the clinic. The very first person you see is sitting behind a desk. That is the receptionist.
You walk up to the desk and say, "Hi, I have an appointment at 2 p.m. My name is John." The receptionist will usually ask you to sign your name on a paper and then tell you to sit in the waiting room.
The waiting room. The place where you wait. Very simple. Sometimes you sit there for 5 minutes. Sometimes you sit there for an hour, reading old magazines.
Eventually, someone will call your name. John? John Smith? But it is usually not the doctor. It is usually a nurse.
Yes, the nurse takes you into a small room, and the nurse has to do a few basic checks before the doctor comes in.
What kind of checks do they do?
Usually, they check your weight. They ask you to step on a scale. Then they check your blood pressure.
Ah, the blood pressure machine. That is the thing they wrap tightly around your arm, and it squeezes your arm really hard.
Yes, it squeezes. It measures how hard your heart is working. They might also check your temperature. They put a small thermometer in your ear or under your tongue. If your temperature is high, what do you have?
A fever. I have a fever.
Exactly. After the nurse finishes, they leave the room, and you wait again. Finally, the door opens and the doctor walks in.
The doctor will usually greet you and ask a very specific question. They almost always say, "What seems to be the problem today?" or "What brings you in today?"
I want to pause here. What brings you in today is such a common phrase. It just means, why are you here? What is your symptom?
When the doctor asks this, don't panic. Just take a deep breath and use the structures we practiced.
Let's do a quick role play. John, I will be the doctor, you be the patient. Ready?
Ready. Coughs dramatically.
Hello, John. What brings you in today?
Hi, doctor. I don't feel well. I have a really bad headache and I feel very tired all the time. Also, my throat hurts when I eat.
Perfect. You used all 3 patterns. As the doctor, I understand completely. I will look in your throat, maybe listen to your chest with my stethoscope.
And then the doctor will give you their advice. Let's talk about a few confusing words the doctor might use. Olivia, sometimes my students ask me about the difference between pain, hurt, and ache. They seem so similar.
That is a brilliant question. They all mean something feels bad, but we use them differently in a sentence. Let's break it down simply.
Okay, let's start with hurt.
Hurt is usually a verb. It is an action. My leg hurts. My head hurts. It is what the body part is doing.
Okay, so hurt is a verb. What about pain?
Pain is a noun. It is a thing. You say, I have a pain in my leg. Notice the difference. My leg hurts, or I have a pain in my leg. Both mean the exact same thing.
I see. My stomach hurts, or I have a pain in my stomach. And what about ache?
Ache is also a pain, but usually a dull, continuous pain, not a sharp, sudden pain. If you cut your finger with a knife, that is a sharp pain. But if you have a cold, your head just throbs all day. That is a headache. An ache stays with you for a long time.
That is such a clear explanation. Hurt is the verb, pain is the noun for a sharp feeling, ache is the noun for a long, dull feeling.
Exactly. So back to our doctor visit. The doctor checks you, understands your pain, and says, "You have a throat infection. I'm going to give you a prescription."
Prescription. Let's spell that out. Prescription. A prescription is the official piece of paper the doctor gives you. It gives you permission to buy special medicine.
You take this paper to the pharmacy. A pharmacy is a special store that sells medicine. In America, we also call it a drugstore.
You give the paper to the pharmacist and they give you the medicine. We call this prescription medicine. You cannot buy it without the doctor's paper.
But sometimes, if you just have a little headache, you don't need a doctor. You can just walk into the pharmacy and buy medicine right off the shelf, like aspirin or cough drops.
Right. We call that over-the-counter medicine. Over-the-counter means you don't need a doctor's note. You just pay the cashier over the counter and walk out.
So to summarize the doctor visit, you make an appointment, you check in with the receptionist, the nurse checks your temperature, the doctor asks, "What brings you in today?" You describe your symptoms, and the doctor gives you a prescription for the pharmacy.
See, it is a very logical step-by-step process. Once you know the steps, it is not scary at all.
Absolutely. You are doing great, listeners. In our next and final chapter, we are going to do a quick review, and then we have some practice questions for you.
Welcome to the final chapter of today's podcast. You have learned so much today.
You really have. We covered how to express the feeling of being sick, the 3 simple structures to describe symptoms, funny doctor stories, and the step-by-step process of going to a clinic.
Before we test your knowledge, let's do a very quick, simple summary of the most important rules, just to lock it into your brain.
Rule number 1. When you feel bad, just say, "I feel sick," or "I don't feel well." Focus on the simple feeling. Don't worry about big medical words.
Rule number 2. Remember the 3 magic patterns. I have a noun, like I have a fever. I feel adjective, like I feel dizzy. And my body part hurts, like my ear hurts.
And rule number 3. Remember the difference between hurt, pain, and ache. Hurt is the action, pain is a sharp thing, ache is a dull, long thing.
If you can remember those points, you are absolutely ready to handle sickness in English. Now it is time for our favorite part of the show, the audience practice section.
Yes, we don't want you to just listen to us. We want you to use the English you learned today. So we are going to ask you 5 questions. We want you to scroll down right now and type your answers in the comment section below the video.
Please try to use full sentences. Don't just write one word. Practice using the patterns we taught you. Are you ready?
Here is question number 1. How are you feeling today?
Good question. Just tell us the truth. Do you feel great? Do you feel tired? Do you feel under the weather? Let us know.
Question number 2. Think about the last time you were sick. What symptoms did you have?
Did you have a headache? A cough? Did your stomach hurt? Use the phrase, "I had a," to tell us about it.
Question number 3. What is your favorite home remedy when you are sick?
For example, Olivia likes to sleep for 12 hours. I like to drink hot water with lemon. What do you do in your culture? Do you eat a special soup? Do you drink a special tea? We really want to know.
Question number 4. Have you ever visited a doctor or a pharmacy in an English-speaking country?
If yes, how was the experience? Was it scary? Did you understand the doctor? Did they ask, "What brings you in today?"
And finally, question number 5. What is the English word for the piece of paper a doctor gives you to buy special medicine?
Ooh, a vocabulary test. If you remember the word, type it in the comments. Hint, it starts with the letter P.
Awesome. Please pause the video if you need time to write your comments. John and I love reading them. We try to reply to as many as we can.
We really do. Your comments build our community. We are all learning together.
Learning English is a journey. Some days are easy and some days are hard, just like your health. Some days you feel great and some days you feel a little under the weather.
That is so true, Olivia. If you are watching this and you feel frustrated with your English, don't give up. Take a rest, drink some water, and come back tomorrow. You are doing a fantastic job.
Thank you so much for spending your time with us today on the English Leap podcast. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button. It really helps our channel grow so we can make more free lessons for you.
And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a new conversation. We release new podcast episodes every single week.
Stay healthy out there, everyone. Wash your hands, drink your tea, and keep practicing your English.
We will see you in the next episode. Goodbye.
Bye, everyone. Take care.